Welcome back to the channel. It's your host Bobby King with your latest Iraqi Dinar news and updates. Today we're diving into some exciting developments, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel and support me so I can keep bringing you the real story behind the RV. Let's get into it. In a story that reads like the final chapters of an epic, Iraq, once the epicenter of conflict, political turbulence, and economic collapse, now stands poised at the edge of a transformation that could send ripples through the global financial system. After years of meticulous economic restructuring, relentless political negotiation, and quiet but determined progress, Iraq has reportedly completed all the prerequisites to join the World Trade Organization. But there's more beneath the surface, something that has long been whispered about, speculated on, and flat out dismissed by skeptics: the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. For many, this might sound like another chapter in the ongoing saga of Iraq's currency drama. But this time, it's different. Quietly, deliberately, and strategically, Iraq has positioned itself for a two-step currency revaluation that could change not only its own fortunes, but potentially shift financial tides in the region, and perhaps the world. The shocking reality behind the revaluation: sources close to Iraq's central bank and financial reform committees have confirmed what insiders have been saying for months. Iraq is preparing for a sudden, calculated revaluation of its currency. First, an official adjustment over the current rate of 1320 dinars to the dollar, and then a much more significant move, placing the dinar just above parity with the US dollar. This isn't mere guesswork. It's part of a carefully orchestrated plan rooted in real economic fundamentals. Iraq's foreign currency reserves are now among the strongest in the region, exceeding $100 billion. Gold reserves have been increased, oil production has stabilized, and trade partnerships, particularly with China, the EU, and the Gulf states, have deepened. The Central Bank of Iraq has also implemented extensive banking and anti-money laundering reforms, positioning the nation for a return to full sovereignty in its financial decision-making. But here's the twist. Iraq's economic planners believe the key to jump-starting the domestic economy lies not just in external recognition, but in incentivizing the people themselves, Iraqi citizens, to trust their currency once again. The catch: the 30 notes. One of the most fascinating and controversial aspects of this plan is the strategy surrounding the so-called 30 notes, high-denomination Iraqi dinar bills that were introduced in the early 2000s to cope with hyperinflation. Since then, these notes have been both a necessity and a burden, enabling day-to-day commerce while symbolizing a broken economy. In the planned revaluation, these notes will retain their value during a limited transition period. However, the second phase, the jump to a dinar rate just above the US dollar, will serve as a psychological and financial trigger. Why? Because at that moment, the dinar will officially be worth more than the dollar, giving every citizen a direct, tangible reason to bring in their stashed cash, believed to be in the tens of trillions of dinars, back into the banking system. The goal isn't just economic reform, it's economic healing, one senior advisor close to the process stated anonymously. When the people see that their money, long hoarded in fear and distrust, is suddenly valuable again, they'll engage. They'll invest, they'll believe. Hope rooted in real change. To be clear, the idea of Iraq joining the WTO isn't just symbolic. It requires deep, structural reforms in trade law, financial transparency, economic liberalization, and digital infrastructure. Iraq has met these demands, and several senior WTO officials have acknowledged the country's impressive progress. This alignment with the WTO is not just about global trade. It's a signal to investors, to banks, to other nations, that Iraq is ready to play by the rules of the international economy. And that readiness is precisely what gives credibility to the upcoming RV. Moreover, Iraq's young population, increasingly tech-savvy and entrepreneurial, is hungry for opportunity. The revaluation is expected to fuel a wave of domestic investment, business formation, and infrastructure development. Imagine the spark when someone's life savings, long worth mere pennies on the dollar, suddenly holds real, spendable, and investable power. The shock, the risk, and the opportunity. Of course, none of this comes without risk. Currency revaluations are notoriously tricky. Missteps could lead to inflation spikes, black market chaos, or social unrest. But Iraq's financial policymakers, working closely with international advisors, seem to have modeled the process with precision. The RV will not be announced far in advance. It will happen suddenly. One day the dinar will adjust modestly, then, within days or weeks, it will surge past the psychological threshold of 1 dinar equals $1. The world may be stunned. Investors might scramble. But for Iraqis, from Baghdad to Basra, it will feel like the end of a long winter. A final word for decades, Iraq has been defined by what it has lost: peace, prosperity, pride. But now, a new narrative is emerging, one built on sovereignty, strategy, and stunning economic potential. The dinar's revaluation is more than just numbers on a screen. It is the resurrection of trust, the ignition of hope, and possibly, the beginning of Iraq's long-awaited golden era. The eyes of the world may not yet be watching closely. But they will. Very soon. In the end, I want to ask all my friends watching to stay positive and patient, because patience truly is the key to success. Please subscribe to my channel and show your support. Wishing you all a wonderful day.